Biokript Senior Editor, to be correct. We're here to discuss the regulation in Web3 payment field. I'm quite sure that regulation and regulatory landscape were discussed like from every side during last blockchain week, but we're here to focus on one specific. So before we start, can you guys please introduce yourself a little?
Yeah, my name is Adnan, one of the co-founders of HAQQ.COMMUNITY. HAQQ is a centralized research organization focusing on AI and Web3. So we're focused on supporting early stage Web3 projects. Yeah,
cool,
great to be here.
Okay, then I just go ahead. First, a comment. In any conference, there are two types of people. Those who go out to just socialize and those who are here to learn. So that's good. It doesn't matter you're a majority or minority, but these people here are serious. Except some of them are talking to me. This is Farzan Kamalabadi, founder of Future Trends Group. And as simple as that. We are very much involved with national strategies in many countries on the blockchain, crypto, and digital economy, including the US. So we'll talk about it later.
Amazing, thank you.
Yes, my name is Adnan and I'm the CEO of Biokript, and we are the world's first hybrid Shariah compliant cryptocurrency exchange. I've been in the crypto industry since 2015, and I've seen a lot of inefficiencies in the market. And one of the biggest inefficiencies is actually centralization of cryptocurrency trading. So we've seen right now, majority of cryptocurrency trading today is done on centralized platforms, even though the whole point of crypto revolution was decentralization, where users are in full control of their own funds. So with this control, we've seen a lot of regulations, and that's basically what we're going to be talking about this topic of regulations, and which is actually in a way contrary to decentralization.
Yeah, thank you. So my question will be related to the current state of this landscape. What's going on at the moment with regulation of off-ramps, on-ramps, Web3 payments, and do you personally think is it a bad idea or a good idea to regulate Web3 payments? Because many people, including myself honestly, do think that it breaks the whole concept of decentralization and assets owning.
Yeah, regulation is a great topic. A discussion in Web3. I think some people are going to be for regulation, some are not. For example, centralized crypto services will already support some sort of regulation, whereas true hardcore Web3 developers really only care about decentralization. So when it comes to regulation, I think it will be, different laws in different jurisdictions. So it will be, it won't be one size fits all approach. So I think you've seen China approaching crypto differently compared to the US. So I think you'll continue to see that for many years to come.
Yeah, sure, thank you.
Well, we have to understand the foundation of the phenomenon. Well, I have a sentence called promises betrayed. There are many promises in the early time of the blockchain and the crypto that are betrayed. First of all, they are not yet. Two, they were against government and against banking institutions. And they were going to create a new form of justice society, but they didn't. They became super rich and they didn't care about others. That's why we have the phenomenon of FTX and others. So now it's a new generation, a new era. So in this there are players. The players are private, which were the bulk that created the blockchain, crypto and digital. Then institutions, then governments. These three players, and I gave this lecture 5 years ago, at the opening remark of the Dubai Blockchain Summit. These three players must be in unison and unity. You cannot have one versus the other. And that is how the regulation comes in. If it was not regulated, it created really exaggerated, or you can say even illegal situations. For example, I'm the one who advised the entire FBI and SEC that take away bots and algorithm and bots away from the market making. You can do it for analysis, but not for exchanges. They are over-exaggerated. And so also the other one is that I always used to say, horizontal first, vertical second. That means don't take this industry to become crowd financing. First raise money, give a promise of white paper that you never deliver. In fact, first you have to deliver, then raise the benchmark of value, which is the crypto. So I believe in the real assets and real operations or real value. It doesn't have to be assets, it could be value but real. So on top of the value, you create a benchmark of the coin. This way the coin will not go up and then disappear, and in fact on purpose. So you can call 95% of all the coins failed, and maybe even with genuine intention, but they never delivered. Whereas majority of them were scams to begin with anyway. We have to clean the industry and make it a new, mature industry. Why? Because now only 0.5% of the world is in crypto. 99.5% of the world is not yet in crypto. We are not about mass adoption from the crypto community. We have to have mass adoption from the non-crypto community. That requires what we call regulation. Regulation is not to stifle, or in fact when the US government came to me, they were asking, should we even just block the entire industry? I said no, because the whole world will go digital. This is a mega macro wave. You cannot stop a macro wave. You cannot stop the Renaissance. You cannot stop the discovery of North American continent. You cannot stop the rise of China. You cannot stop now the rise of Africa. You cannot stop digital economy to go viral global. You can only monitor it and manage it, not even control it. So the difference between regulation and control and stifling is very obvious. You have to manage it so that everybody plays on an equal and there's no exaggerated extremists into the society.
So you don't believe in self-government, in decentralized government, and you're sure crypto industry does require the external regulation?
The internal, so long as it becomes automatic, real, truthful, yeah, it can work on its own. And then the regulation from outside should be minimal. But then if people are going to exaggerated extremes and the populations are at a loss, as we see, especially the Chinese. Unfortunately, the China government managed well, but the Chinese blockchain started from the US and from Europe, you can say. It went global, but 80% of the industry was in China. And with the Chinese going to Korea, to Russia, to here, to there, Cambodia, 99% of them are totally scams. Okay? They raise first, they use generic white paper, raise communities and monies, and they disappear. Even up to today, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, everywhere this is this community. They have come even to Dubai, but we cleaned them and now most of them have gone out. But yes, you have to have regulation, but not with the intention of control or oppression. So that's the balance.
Yeah, thank you. Adnan, do you have something to add here?
Yes, regulation was always a sensitive issue in the crypto space. If you don't regulate it, there are going to be a lot of scams that we see right now. Now, if you over-regulate it, you're going to stifle competition, and all of those promising projects that have a lot of potential to actually revolutionize the industry, they're not going to come to light. So, one of the examples, as Mr. Fazan said, the trend in 2016 and 17, people basically just write a white paper, and because there was a lot of hype, investors pour millions, and those projects never actually delivered. So that, and because of that, because of those projects, people lose faith. People lose faith in this promising industry. So one of the examples that we can say is actually full centralization obviously doesn't work as of right now. Celsius, Voyager, Babel, Finance, FTX. FTX is the perfect example that centralization doesn't work. Now, as of right now, full decentralization also doesn't work. For example, fully decentralized platforms such as Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap, and many other ones, there are billions and billions of dollars lost every year due to rug pulls, honeypots, or straight out scams. Because those platforms are not basically regulated by anybody, nobody controls them. A lot of scammers could come over there, list their project, hype it up, and scam a lot of people. That is happening on an everyday basis. So one of the things that we gotta do is actually do whatever is best for the space, and that is actually take the middle approach. Take the way of actually not stifling competition, but also find a way to actually regulate it so there's all of those scams actually weed it out.
Yeah, I'm agree with you, but also disagree because it's not just DEXes and decentralized platforms who got scammed all the time, because we've seen many bankruptcies and yeah, like $1 billion lost. People lost their savings many times. So it's not just about crypto space. Actually, traditional financial system is as rotten as well.
The way to manage sensibly is not by going after manhunt, one by one case, or after exaggerated controlling systems. It's by modeling. So, for example, the fund industry knows that I raise money, I have 20%. 2% management fee, 20% returns. Become very much standardized, matured. But in this industry, any money raised 100% is owned by the founder. No. You give a promise of white paper that 5% is mine. The rest of this is the community or the development or this and that. But they don't. So that's why you have to take away what I call it. Either non-custodial is a solution or third-party custodial. You don't need to own it in your own hands if you have raised money. So you don't raise money for yourself. You raise money for the whole community. That's a different story. That's why you need regulation. And we don't decide the regulation. We can help with the legislation of the right regulation based on model. Because regulation in the world is not yet being mature. So the US still is working on the regulation, 1 more year to become completed. And of course, the US will lead other countries, but independently, African countries are working on their own regulations and they don't know which sides to take and how, and what elements, and the same. Dubai, but it's good because we have been in touch with the highest level of the government on that. So there are Europe, some countries, the legislation and the regulation is more mature. Dubai is more mature. US is becoming now more mature. So the rest will follow.
Okay, let's jump to our initial topic because we moved a little from it. Do you guys think we really have to regulate the payments itself? Because what's the difference then between crypto industry and traditional banks? If we have to comply, we have to pass KYC, we have to provide a ton of documents and basically provide all the information about every step.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I think crypto sells more than payments. So I think centralized crypto entities definitely need to be regulated if they handle, any sort of payments, any sort of funds, other people's funds. So, but when it comes to smart contracts, there's a lot that smart contracts can do that doesn't require outside regulation. For example, automated mortgage smart contracts. A lot of automation should require regulation. Anything that doesn't need, doesn't have payments, a payment structure in it. I think for custody, crypto custody services should definitely be regulated as well. But I think you'll find that, for example, gaming, regulating, you're not regulating, Candy Crush, so why would you regulate, any Web3 game? So that's my take on this.
The regulation on money and its transfer should not and will not be micromanagement. Micromanagement is like every transaction you have to get permission? No. That's why I say modeling is the answer. If the modeling makes it fair, makes it transparent, makes it equal, and makes the institutions who are the issuers are not seeing that there is no police and therefore appropriate to my own pocket. So long as that doesn't happen, you don't need to do micromanagement. So the whole idea of a regulation is the ecosystem and the atmosphere and the mode of operation that creates this equality and universality. Once that is there, you don't need, most of the systems are technology. Technology means information. Information means transparent, it means automatic. It means automatic by smart contract, it means by seamless, it means by basically with the AI. So all of these elements, if the AI is not, let's say, rigged, then yes, you don't need a regulation. But if it's rigged, you need to have a regulation. So macro management, not micro.
Don't you think we already failed with it because we have travel rule now that basically restricts all the operations over 1K USD? So this is the micromanagement you're talking about.
Yeah, as again I said, over management or control or even stopping, that's not at all the whole community, like any community, let's say American US Chamber of Commerce, they have lobbying power. The whole crypto community has lobbying power in the formation of legislation. So who am I? I'm nobody. I'm one individual, but I'm advisor to many of these national systems. Why? Because I believe my knowledge and my solutions are of use to them, and they do it more balanced way, more healthy way. This way, neither this industry sleeps or dies out, nor it's at the mercy of being scammed. So you are very correct. At this time, there is some places over-exaggerated control, not even policy. So we have to influence it. On the one hand, we have to operate more fairly, more transparently, don't steal the monies of the masses because we are right at the position that we can. At the same time, we have the government to make the legislation sensible. And sometimes they don't. It is very correct that they are afraid or over, sometimes for purposes of control. Like in the China case, it's the purpose of control. They want currency of the national government digitalized. They want everything to be in their knowledge and information. That's why they don't promote privatization of the blockchain. But in the US, I don't think the intention is like stifling and control. That's why they have been very sensitive. It all depends also on the government's own attitude and their controls they want on their society or not.
Yeah, thank you. Adnan, can you add your take here?
Well, I just want to make one thing clear. Banks never liked crypto. And they are never going to like it until they control it. And actually, the sad part is that's what we are seeing right now with this over-regulation. One of the examples is this. Some of you who were in crypto, for the past couple of years, in 2017, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, one of the largest banks in the world, he publicly stated that Bitcoin is fraud, and he's going to fire anybody in his company who is caught trading Bitcoin. That's what he stated publicly. At the same time, his company was secretly one of the biggest buyers of Bitcoin at that same time. Not only that, but right now what we are seeing right now is this. JP Morgan, they are basically acquiring blockchain patents. JP Morgan, they are having their own cryptocurrency trading desk. JP Morgan, they have their even own cryptocurrency. So that is what is happening right now. Basically, they are trying to take over everything and finding a way to control it.
It's called, they want the good of both. They are dichotomy. They are against crypto, but they themselves are issuing. For sure, the first group that is threatened is the banking. Because if the blockchain and crypto goes universal, the banking as we know it will totally disappear. So will accounting, because everything is automatic. Ledgers are automatically created. With AI, even auditing can disappear. So accounting is one of the areas that will disappear. Auditing, to most degree, will disappear. And of course, banking the way we know. We have metaverse of banking. With that, the banking doesn't need to have physical banking at least. I'm not saying the banking system will disappear, but the form of it definitely. So, but they don't need to fear or worry. Like the same as the oil and gas country nations. Saudi, the biggest oil country, is actually in the forefront of alternative energy, renewable energy. So why don't you be the promoter of blockchain and digital currency and issue yours, but don't stifle the other players. That's why there must be a uniform, what they call a balanced mid-lane. I always believe in hybrid system. A hybrid between classic banking and digital banking. Classic assets and digital assets. For example, in African nations, you have the earth. Under it, you have all the mining and the riches of all the mines. Above it, you have agriculture. So, resource bank. The resource bank is physical resource, but then it can become on blockchain, it can become logged in, monitored, and therefore inventory taken. So everything that is under the ground, just like exploration, can be proven reserved very accurately. Therefore, they can become economic paper, therefore they can be floated and turned into cash. So then you don't need to stifle them, you just promote it. So I believe that the industry has a greatest future from 0.5% to 99% of anything that is value will be digitalized. Whether physical, tangible or intangible. The whole humanity is a power of calculation. Remember, it is computing. The more you have power of calculation and automatic, then it creates the transparency. It creates the, what I call decentralization. The world is pushed by the arrow of imperative to become digitalized and to become decentralized. Nobody can stifle it. But in the meanwhile, it is imbalanced. In the meanwhile, we have to be more aware. First, the non-crypto community, a large number of them should come in. And not only dwell on the crypto. Then the coins that are issued from false one, from really scam ones to become really backed by assets or operations or value. And the promises of white paper, first at least deliver 30%, 20% before you issue one. Don't take it as crowdfunding. So the people to be blamed with are not the government or the regulators, are actually the players in the industry who move too fast without any management or control, and they created an excuse given to the institutions and to the government to try to stifle them. Now we don't want. We want a balanced, mid-lane interplay and hybrid. If that happens, then everybody wins.
Yeah, but from the other side, institutional adoption takes a lot of time. So even if we'll one day, probably we'll see this hybrid scheme between DeFi and TradFi, but it will take a lot of time probably. So we have 3 more minutes. So my last question is, how do you think can we finally see like the global framework for payment regulation in Web3, or every country will be creating its own rules?
Yeah, so I think we won't see a universal, framework of regulation for cryptocurrencies, simply because of, differences in geopolitical opinions and, ideas, of course. So it's hard to come up with one universal, structure to regulate crypto, but what I see happening different countries, as we've seen in the past, El Salvador took a different approach compared to US and Europe. So I think we continue to see different regulations around the world.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, when you think about it, crypto is already globally regulated. Any cryptocurrency project that is decentralized, it is actually governed by a group of nodes, not located in one place. So in a way, when you're thinking about it, that is in a way regulation. So each node cannot actually control until the rest of the nodes agree. Okay. So, but to actually understand that the future of crypto regulation, we have to understand where we used to be. The crypto started by a group of nerds and crypto anarchists who wanted change. It started around 2008, 2009, after the global collapse. So obviously, one of the contributors to that were banks and big institutions. So now, all of those people who fully supported it, those people who fully believed in it, those people who fought for it, right now, all of those big institutions are coming in and saying, okay, now it's our turn to take over, you can take a hike. And I could tell you this, no matter what they say, and no matter what they do, crypto is here to stay.
First of all, crypto and blockchain don't need to be, the blockchain doesn't need to be regulated. It's the issuers that often go to the extremes. So it's a regulation over the oversight of people. Otherwise, the technology is very unbiased and very fair and very transparent. And as you said, many nodes, so it is consensus. So it is not the technology that needs to be regulated, it's the issuers and the users.
Yeah, there will be always, we'll see bad players in the field for sure. It was the same situation like in the 90s with the very beginning of the internet, and many people were asking the government to regulate it or like banning it or something, but the internet is here to stay, so probably we'll see the same. Thank you guys for great discussion.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, panelists.